pounds. It's not his brawn that gives people a lot of trouble. It's his height and his long arms, and he'll have a tough test tonight, Pat.
Chad Mustard just coming off his third double-double of the year Monday night at Omaha, but he also hyperextended his right elbow in that game. Always seems to be hurt before the Bison game. You see that wrap on his right elbow. He missed some practice time this week, but he says he's okay. He'll give it a shot tonight, and they'll need his strength inside against the Bison big men.
The Bison have won 9 of the last 12 games in this series, but the Sioux have won the last 2 here in Fargo. We're just minutes away from tip-off. Right back with the starting lineups after this.
A junior from Mishawaka, Indiana, number 12, Curtis Munlin. At guard, a junior from Mayville, North Dakota, number 24, Tom Jacobson. At guard, 6'5" senior from Minneapolis, Minnesota, number 30, Marcus Travis. At forward, a 6'8" senior from Columbus, Nebraska, number 40, Chad Mustard. At center, 6'10", a junior from Hayfield, Minnesota, number 54, Kyle Behrens. The Sioux are coached by Rich Glass. Fans, please give a warm welcome, live and direct from Salt Lake City, Utah, North Dakota's own Utah Jazz Band. The starting lineups for your North Dakota State University Bison. He stands at a guard, 5'11" junior from Benton Harbor, Michigan, number 12, Gary Hall. At guard, 6'1" junior from Laconia, Minnesota, number 24, Joe Hadid. 6'4" senior from Fergus Falls, Minnesota, number 33, Jason Retzlaff. At forward, 6'8" senior from Euless, Texas, number 40, J.T. Jeremy Thompson. At forward, 6'5" senior from Rockford, Illinois, number 42, Danny English. Are coached by Ray Giacoletti.
Dan Ashworth is our courtside reporter tonight. Dan, welcome to the broadcast team.
Thank you very much, Steve and Pat. We'll take a quick look at the keys of the game tonight for Rich Glass and the Sioux. They want to make the good look shots. They also, number 2, they want to control the boards. And number 3, as always, no turnovers. For Ray Giacoletti and the Bison, a strong post defense. Contest every shot and take it strong to the hoop. Those are the keys of the game. Back to you, Steve and Pat.
Thank you very much, Dan Ashworth. Ray Giacoletti in his 3rd year at North Dakota State. He has a record of 41-24 in his tenure. Here's a look at the Blue Cross Blue Shield starting lineups. Jacobson and Munlin at guard, Travis and Mustard at forwards, Kyle Behrens, the 6'9" junior at center. For the North Dakota State Bison, it will be Hall and Hedin at the guards. Jason Retzlaff, the sharpshooter, at forward. Jeremy Thompson draws the big assignment tonight against big number 40 on the opposite side. And Danny English will play center tonight for North Dakota State. An interesting story, by the way, why Jeremy Thompson is starting tonight. We'll develop that as the first half goes along. We're ready to tip tonight. Our officials, Tom Perot, the referee, John Leeser, and Gary Putz, the umpires tonight. UND controls the ball. They will get the first look. Munlin to the rack, uncontested for 2.
That's something that Rich Glass would like to see more of tonight. He said Curtis Munlin's confidence has been sagging in the early games.
Just 5.4 points a game for the junior college transfer, but if that bucket's any indication, he's got big plans tonight at the BSA. Gary Hall, kick out to Joe Hedin for 3, rims out. Great job on the boards by Mustard, seals off Thompson, and Munlin brings it back up the floor. 19:11 to play in the first half. The Sioux have an early 2-0 lead. Mustard looks for some room, gets Thompson up in the air, shoots, rims out. Thompson hard to the glass for the rebound. Hedin looking for the entry pass to Danny English off the foot of Curtis Munlin. NDSU retains possession. Ray Giacoletti 2-2 in his 3 years at North Dakota State. Hedin now with the left hand. He's fouled on the drive. Curtis Munlin with the foul.
His first personal, first team foul.
I think they give it to Marcus Travis.
Excuse me, Pat.
Yeah.
Marcus Travis.
First foul of the game goes to UND.
Retzloff curls off the screen. Tom Jacobson with the solid defense. Now English will fire from 17. That's short. Kyle Behrens with the board. Seals off well. Munlin dials from 3. That kicks out. Thompson with the board. Both teams will employ man-to-man defense as a rule. You'll very seldom see either team in a zone defense here tonight. Thompson, he's got that range, but that one doesn't look pretty. Works hard though and gets his own board. Now the baseline 8-footer is good. Jeremy Thompson is on the board with 17:50 to play in the first half, and we're tied at 2.
I think that's the first offensive rebound the Bison have been able to get, and it results in a pair of points.
Mustard dancing a little with Jeremy Thompson. The referees say you dance. The traveling call turns it over to North Dakota State. Gary Hall surveys the floor, finds Retzloff at the high post. Danny English ball fake to the lane, dish to Thompson. The bucket doesn't go, and it looks like they will call the foul underneath. Kyle Behrens on the block. That'll send Thompson to the line.
First personal, second team foul.
Second team foul against the Sioux.
At the line for the Bison, number 40, Jeremy
There you see
shooting 2.
Kyle Behrens thought he had position, but no. And this will send Thompson to the line, the first free throw of the game.
This is Jeremy Thompson's first start of the year. We told you there was a story behind it. Wednesday afternoon, he went into Coach Ray Giacoletti's office and said, "Coach, I want the defensive task on Chad Mustard." John Brenneman had been starting the 6'8 freshman for North Dakota State, but Ray Giacoletti said, "If you are confident enough that you want that task, young fellow, I'm going to give it to you. One of the seniors on this team, you get the job." He says, "I'm a little taller, a little rangier, and I may be able to give him some trouble." We'll see in a couple hours, Pat, how that strategy pays off. Travis now to the lane. Right-handed layup is good.
Yeah, how many people are going to volunteer for that assignment, huh?
He's either a bold man or a stupid man. We'll know a little bit more later on. Bison now looking to counterpunch. Danny English to the lane. Too strong, Chad Mustard the board. Now the Sioux will run. Curtis Munlin turns it upfield. Mustard off the glass, too strong, follows his own miss. That's blocked from behind. Joe Hedin turns it back the other way. Hedin spots Jeremy Thompson. Feeling it, but not quite that confident yet. Lob pass inside, knocked away. It'll stay on this end.
UND substitution, number 20, Brady Larson. Number 52, Hunter Ranky. Number 34, Blaine Risman.
Here's the sequence under the basket with Mustard getting several good chances. And there you see he had a clean shot at it and was swatted away. And there's 2 for the Bison.
Coming back quickly is Joe Hedin for the underneath deuce. It's 5-4 North Dakota State. We're 4 minutes into the first half. And we've had 3 players check in for the Sioux. That is common for this team. They like to get 3 seniors in off the bench early. Ranky, Blaine Risved, and Brady Larson all in now for UND.
And Risved came down with the flu last night, Steve, so his availability tonight is in question. He may not be in for very long.
Brady Larson gets the floater to fall from about 17 feet, and the Sioux are back on top 6-5.
Sioux have a nice position here with Brady Larson averaging 10 points, Hunter Ranky 14 points off the bench. They could start on a lot of other teams.
That's one thing that Ray Giacoletti says scares him about this team. The 5 seniors, they've been so dedicated to this season for so long. Sioux feel like this might be their year to challenge for an NDSU title. They certainly ought to do that, Pat.
Well, Rich thinks that they have the potential to go all the way, but this is a pivotal game. He says if they go down with 2 losses, it puts a lot of pressure on them the rest of the way.
7-5 UND. We're just 4.5 minutes into the game. We'll be back after this.
Tonight will receive a first-class upgrade for tonight's game to the Northwest Airlines seats.
At Team Electronics, discover what's new. You're in touch with the times and we'll deliver for you.
Team Electronics has been honored as Cellular One's Dealer of the Year 5 consecutive years, and with good reason. We combine exceptional customer service with quality products. Team Electronics, your authorized Cellular One dealer.
Team Electronics, the touch. Team Electronics.
Bremer is proud to support Sioux sports and happy to be your hometown bank. Our team of professionals is made up of friends and neighbors who live and work in your community. The Bremer team takes pride in the communities we serve, and we're here to help you and your team reach your goals. Bremer is more than just a bank in your community. We're your community bank. Put our team to work for you today and score big with Bremer. Member Bremer Financial Corporation, member FDIC.
Roll into winter with quality Goodyear tires from Schumacher Tire Center. When it comes to durability, Goodyear is the brand you know and trust, and Schumacher Tire offers everyday low prices. Depend on tough Goodyear Wranglers for your light truck, van, or sport utility. For traction and safety, try Goodyear's full line of car tires, including Regatta 2, Decathlon, and T-Metric. Plus, Schumacher Certified Auto Service can get your vehicle ready for the cold months ahead. So roll into Schumacher Tire Center with locations in Grand Forks and Fargo.
Two-point margin here in Fargo, 7-5 our first half score. We've got 15:22 to play in the half. Bison look for the quick shot. Danny English, the weak side rebound, gets his own miss. And it looks like they'll call Brandon Bading over the back. His first foul. Coming up Sunday night, tomorrow evening, if you haven't had enough of Pat and I by then, you can get a half hour of us along with the coaches of the men's and women's basketball teams, the Sioux and Bison basketball shows coming up tomorrow night at 10:35 on WDAY and WDAZ. Joe Hedin works on the perimeter. Tough defense on Jason Retzloff. Tries to step under to no avail. Now Gary Hall will reset the Bison offense. Gary Hall, the youngest of 8 children. A pretty good story. He's been through a lot. Now he's playing some great basketball here in Fargo. Joe Hedin crashes the offensive glass.
Sioux, number 12, Curtis Munlin, replacing Larson.
And Curtis Munlin will check back into the game. Brady Larson will sit down.
Brady got a little too close there. Actually, they've got him posted for 2 fouls, so he sits down immediately.
Now the Sioux trapping high in the Bison offensive set. And they tie up Jason Retzlaff. Hunter Renke and Tom Jacobson working hard on the perimeter. Jason Retzlaff couldn't control the ball. The ultimate possession stays with North Dakota State. They've worked a long time without anything to show for it here on this possession. Gary Hall drives, kicks to an open Danny English, who's fouled from behind. Danny English is a player that Ray Giacoletti says is his most improved player this season.
Tom Jacobson picks up the foul, his first of the game. English is a tough guy, tough to defend and quick.
At the line for the Bison, number 42, Danny English.
He leads the Bison in rebounds with 7.4 a game. Ray Giacoletti says he is a warrior. This summer, instead of going back home to the Rockford, Illinois area, he stayed in Fargo. Not only did he work hard on the weights himself, he was kind of the ringleader, Ray says, getting the other guys to stay in town and work hard here in Fargo this summer. And Ray says that work is definitely paying off for both Danny and team this year.
Mustard goes back in for the Sioux along with Travis, and Bading comes out, so you've got Mustard back on Thompson again. And some new players in for the Bison, Ben Wilson and Denver Tenbrook in for Thompson and Retzlaff.
Early on, the Sioux are getting the worst of it in the officials' eyes. 16 fouls, none for North Dakota State. You know that Rich Glass is going to have something to say about that. That's not how Ray Giacoletti wanted the score to be even. And now a technical foul has been called on North Dakota State. Joe Hedin thought he had established position. He thought that Marcus Travis had pushed off. The referees say, no, Joe, you did not have the spot.
Well, it's a good thing we don't have a shot of Ray right now, because the lip readers would have a field day.
Take another look at it. Well, it looks like Hedin had the spot, but it happens a lot quicker and full-time speed. So the Bison have their first team foul of the half. Ray Giacoletti still does not agree, even after contemplating it for about 40 seconds.
Jacobson making both free throws. You've got veteran officials in Tom Peralt and John Leisure. You don't want to get on their bad side too early.
That's a good point, Pat. Absolutely right. Curtis Munlin to the baseline. And team foul. No. Okay, it will go on offense. Chad Mustard will be called for the push. It looks like Munlin beats Hall to the baseline. Mustard comes over with a late screen, they say.
That was a physical pick.
It's tough to make that pick when the two players, the defender and the initiator of the offense, are both in play.
When a guy goes down that hard, it's so obvious, you almost have to call something.
And when you're a big strapping lad like Chad Mustard and you go in there with your shoulder down, that'll oftentimes tip the scales as well. Gary Hall shooting free throws makes the front end of the 1-and-1. The Bison have pulled to within 9-8. 13:56 to go, first half from the Bison Sports Arena. Glad to have you with us, everybody. Steve Hallstrom, Pat Sweeney, and Dan Ashworth bringing you the action from the PSA. Second free throw is good. We've got a tie ball game. 9-9, 13:53 to play, first half. Mustard to the rack, and it's good. Nice touch for the big guy inside.
.68 Mustard getting behind the 6'11 Wilson for his first hoop of the game.
Ben Wilson into the game, the lefty too strong off the glass, and the Sioux will counter in transition. Munlin now will pull it up and reset the offense. Marcus Travis to the baseline, the reverse layup no good. Contact, the officials say play on. And Gary Hall comes back the other way. English now will try it from three. It thought about it, but jumped out. Hunter Renke there for the rebound. And now Curtis Munlin will turn it over. The officials say he carried the ball, going from the wing to the paint. Got a little too much of his hand underneath the ball.
Sioux substitution.
Mustard coming out again, and Kyle Behrens going back in. Well, it's going about as close as we expected it, Steve.
Both coaches said these are two very similar teams. The way they play the game is similar. The personnel are not too much different. How about Gary Hall? Gary Hall, the floater off balance, getting knocked down. Still caroms it off the glass, and we're tied again at 11. 12:35 to play first half. Now Kyle Behrens inside to Travis. The layup no good. Renke with the follow. Hunter Renke, a great player off the bench for Rich Glass. He and Chad Mustard, here's a little interesting something, tied for the team lead in points and rebounds. Exactly the same number of points and boards for each of them. 14.3 points a game, 7.1 rebounds a game.
Renke doesn't even start. He averages 24 minutes as a reserve.
Danny English swatted by Kyle Behrens. Curtis Munlin grabbed the loose ball, and I believe they will whistle Danny English. Yes, 42 white will be called for the foul.
English, his first personal. Third team foul.
It's his first foul of the game. And we'll take a break. 13-11 UND is your score. We'll be back to the Bison Sports Arena.
Utah Jazz Band.
Sometimes people depend on you to be somewhere, even in the toughest winter conditions. That's why you can rely on a Honda snowblower from the Tool Crib of the North. With features like Honda's legendary Easy Start overhead valve engine, user-friendly controls, and track drive for sure gripping traction without chains. So when others depend on you to be there, you can depend on a Honda to get you on your way.
Acme Electric, Tool Crib of the North.
Welcome to Cost Cutters. How can we make your hair look great today?
At Cost Cutters, the look you want is the look you'll get. So visit Cost Cutters today and tell us, how can we make your hair look great? Cost Cutters, your look, your way.
We're the UND dance team. You've heard of the Homer hanky. Now it's time for the Grand Forks Herald UND kerchief. This green handkerchief includes the Sioux logo and is perfect to wave at all UND sporting events. Purchase yours today for $3 at the Grand Forks Herald's downtown office.
Or at several other locations in the Grand Forks area. Check the Herald for a complete listing.
Be a part of the Sea of Dreams and pick up your UND kerchief today.
Brought to you by the Grand Forks Herald.
Channel 8 Television, WDAZ, Devils Lake, Grand Forks.
13-11 UND with the early lead. Let's check in with Dan Ashworth. Dan.
Stephen Patton, Ray Giacoletti's huddle for the Bison. He says he's pretty happy with things going on, but he wants the guys to be a little bit stronger on the defensive end, and he also wants them to stay within their role. If you're the rebounder, you should be down there getting the boards. Back to Stephen Patton. I just got to kiss my bear. Back to you guys.
Okay, Dan, smooch away. We'll continue with basketball here. You can rejoin us again whenever you're good and ready. Curtis Munlin brings it back up the floor for UND. That the Sioux with an early 2-point lead.
That bear is actually John Absey, East Grand Forks Sacred Heart graduate.
Kyle Behrens showing off the range. The 6'10 junior from behind the arc. His first points of the game, and it's now a 5-point UND lead. Into the game now for North Dakota State, Scott Myjak, number 22. Blaine Risfit back into the game for UND. Retzloff now curls off a screen, thought about it, pulls it back out to Myjak. Wilson now moving down on the block. Pass gets away. And Denver Tenbrook, the true freshman, dials behind the arc. That's no good, and Behrens yanks down the rebound. Ray Giacoletti says that Denver Tenbrook is an NCC offensive player right now, but it's the defense that needs to come around. Now a loose ball. Both teams with some contact, and the officials will say North Dakota State possession. Into the game now for North Dakota State. John Brenneman, the 6'8 freshman. Ben Wilson will check out for Ray Giacoletti. And Tom Jacobson now into the game for Rich Glass.
And you got to tip your hat, excuse me, Steve, to Blaine Risford playing with the flu. He doesn't look like he's at full strength, but he's hanging in there.
Backdoor pass. Is Pete Carrill in the building? Scott Myshak looking for the easy basket. Knocked away nicely. The Bison will hang on to the basketball. A little sleight of hand off the offensive set for North Dakota State. Now the lob to Jeremy Thompson. They'll say that Kyle Behrens moved into him. I believe that is his second. It is. Kyle Behrens.
Rich got so mad he went all the way down to the end of the bench and took a drink. Better that than say something and get a technical, I think. But he's still giving John Leisure a few comments nonetheless.
That means it will be a short-lived rest for Hunter Ranke back into the game, and Behrens will sit down with 2 early fouls. That's too bad. Behrens getting hot on the offensive end. He had a big block on his own end as well. A tough time for him to have to sit down. First free throw good by Jeremy Thompson.
It's funny because earlier this week, Rich Glass said Behrens needs to be more assertive, and look where he is now.
You have to employ a little tact. That's being right. Assertive, I guess, sometimes. Little token pressure by Scott Myshak, and now he retreats. Mustard. Ooh, ball is loose. Jacobson now kicks it over to Ranke. Ranke left hand to the baseline, and he is fouled on the drive.
John Brenneman picks up his first. And the 4th team foul against NDSU.
John Brenneman started for a good part of the season for North Dakota State. In fact, he would have started tonight had Jeremy Thompson not been so bold as to head into Ray Giacoletti's office earlier in the week. Now out of control, and the ball is turned over.
Chad Mustard was cutting in, and Tom Jacobson thought he was going to stay at home in the corner, and it goes back to the Bison.
10-10 to play first half. UND leading North Dakota State 16-13. A low-scoring game as we thought it might be. Now Thompson strong with the left hand for 2. Jeremy Thompson now 6 first half points. And it's just a 1-point game. Ranke getting big on the weak side. He's now shoved, and that looks like it'll be foul number 2 on John Brenneman.
North Dakota State foul number 21, John Brenneman.
2 quick ones on Brenneman, and you know, the Sioux coaching staff figured it would be a lot of banging and bruising with the Bison big men tonight, but I don't know if they realized that they'd been picking up 8 of the fouls, and the Bison would have 5 at this point.
UND had the first 6 team fouls of the half, and things have evened up slightly here now. We're at 18 fouls for UND, 5 for North Dakota State. And Greg Smith, the 6'10 freshman from Cottage Grove, Oregon, checks in for North Dakota State. Yes, he is a true freshman. He is not put together like one. And he is a bit raw, as Ray Giacoletti will admit. However, he's got a nice touch inside, and Ray expects big things from him. Jeremy Thompson says, okay. Jason Retzloff, the floater, too strong. Ranke big on the boards, pulls it down. UND back the other way. 18-15, Sioux leading here with 9:16 to play in the first half. Chad Mustard now to the baseline, splits the defenders and scores. A nice twisting layup by the big fella. And it's 20-15 UND. He is so athletic for a big guy. Your first glance, you think he's got to be a bruiser only. Not true.
And Chad playing with a lot more control than he was earlier in his career. He's really matured as a player on the court. Used to get himself in a lot of trouble.
Gary Hall with the quick trigger from 3, and that's no good. Now Travis tries to counterpunch quickly. He'll kick it back out. The 3 from Renke. He can make that shot. He's got the range, and Rich Glass says he is our most improved player this year, simply because he's no longer a 10-foot and in player. He can step out 15, 17, 19 feet and score some points for us.
The Bison have to be happy. There are 4 white jerseys around that rebound.
Now Greg Smith strong inside, a little too strong. And Renke with another defensive board. 8:14 to play first half, 20-15 UND. Munlin, the left-handed layup is good. And Ray Giacoletti is not pleased. A 20-second timeout on the floor is taken. It's a 7-point UND lead, 22-15. We've got 8 minutes to play in the half. And Pat, that's the one thing that Curtis Munlin can give you. Rich Glass says he's not going to kill you from the outside yet, but he's got great quickness, good speed, and isn't afraid to take it to the rack.
That's one of the problems he's had. He's been thinking too much and not reacting. Well, he's reacting a lot tonight. He's penetrating. Actually, Steve, you know, he was a 45% three-point shooter in junior college. So far this season, only 18%. So it's not working for him beyond the arc. He figures he's going to take it to the hole tonight.
He is 4 of 22 for the season from three-point range. And not that you need your point guard to make a lot of threes, but it's nice to have the tool, obviously.
Well, Rich didn't think the Bison would guard him too closely tonight because of some of those statistics, and I think he sent a message to NDSU not to overlook him.
It would behoove the Bison to step up the defensive pressure on the junior from Mishawaka, Indiana. Curtis Munlin, the only real newcomer on this team. Now Jeremy Thompson inside, gets it to go. Jeremy Thompson has answered the bell. He asked for the start, and now we understand why. He's come to play tonight. Wrist-fit, quick to the lane for the left-handed layup. He doesn't look ill, Pat, at least not on that play.
He should get sick more often.
Quickly from the wing to the lane, and it is again a 7-point UND lead. 7:28 to go in the first half. Danny English into Greg Smith, leans in and scores. Rich Glass said he leaned in and gained position with it. The head coach for UND thought it should have been going the other way. But the officials say play on, and we're 24-19 UND. Now in the lane, Danny English will be called for the foul. That's 2 on Danny English.
North Dakota State foul, number 42, Danny English, his second personal.
Hadeen coming back in as we take a break. 7:01 to go, Steve. 24-19 Sioux.
Timeout on the floor.
Back when time and space shook hands and parted ways, the DNA that is you and the purity and promise that is this frost-brewed Coors Light began a journey, each of you aimed by the hand of fate at a point in the future, bringing you closer to a destination known simply as Seat 9, Section B. This is your beer, and you are this beer's destiny. Maybe it didn't recognize you.
Work perks. Norby's work perks. Work perks. Norby's work perks. Discover the difference we can make in your workplace today.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Next time on Home Again, we'll be spending a good deal of our time down in the basement here at the Governor's Mansion in Richmond, Virginia. Riley will be taking a tour of conditions right after they finish pouring the slab, and then later on we look at all the finished walls and partitions that are in place. Also, a tour of the Bunky Bowles house, a contemporary of this house from the early 1800s that's undergoing a very exacting restoration. Don't miss it. That's next time on Home Again.
24-19 UND on top. Coming up at halftime, Dan Ashworth will be with us for the Papa Murphy's halftime report. Dan will be talking, among other things, about the big scuttlebutt in Fargo. Will there soon be college hockey at North Dakota State? Tom Jacobson quickly on the offensive set, and it's 27-19. It's now an 8-point North Dakota lead. Tenbrook to the baseline, spots an open Hedin on the cross-court look. That won't fall. The Bison are shooting just 6 of 22 for the game. That's partly why they're down by 8 points. You're not going to win many games when you're shooting 29% from the field. On the other hand, Chad Mustard and the UND Fighting Sioux are finding the range. It's now a 10-point UND lead with 6:09 to play in the half.
And you know, this Mustard has taken the tape off that elbow. He must be feeling pretty good.
Left-handed layup no good by Jeremy Thompson. And this now becomes a big possession for the North Dakota State defense. Mustard, the jump hook, no. That would have been big. Gary Hall to the paint, slapped away by Munlin. Travis now to the rack, strong, the layup is good. 31-19 UND. Ray Giacoletti says we need to talk once again. A 20-second timeout by Ray Giacoletti. The danger of a point guard penetrating, Pat, is that when it happens and when the ball is slapped away or a shot is missed, it can oftentimes lead to a transition basket the other way.
The Sioux wound up having a 3-on-1 break there, so had that not gone in, they had 2 other green jerseys ready to tap in any possible rebound.
Let's go to courtside reporter Dan Ashworth. Dan.
Well, I'll give you 2 updates. Earlier, Rich Glass, he says, hey, let's keep defending the way we are and just keep moving your feet. He's pretty happy with the guys as they are up by the score of 31-19. And Ray Giacoletti sums it up with one simple word: discipline. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Dan. More than it looks like North Dakota State is not playing with a lot of discipline. The Sioux are just playing with a lot of tenacity on the defensive end. All kinds of problems for the team in white. Now Gary Hall, jump step. Finally one goes for Ray Giacoletti's team. Gary Hall averaging 14.3 points a game. He now has 6. And it's back to a 10-point lead. Renke strong to the basket, but it's knocked away, and Gary Hall will counter for North Dakota State. Ooh, good anticipation by Travis, but Joe Hedin gets it. Jump stop, and it goes. The jump hook by Joe Hedin, who Ray Giacoletti says has really increased his offensive production this year, really developed a lot of skill with the basketball. But he's always been able to do that. Joe Hedin's calling card is defense. That's how he earned his minutes on the floor for Ray Giacoletti.
Well, Hedin, you saw that reaction, trying to get some life pumped into this Bison team, and they have since calling that timeout.
And Joe Hedin just got there in time. Rich Glass says he didn't. Rich Glass, a friendly discussion. Oh, he says he didn't quite get there. Well, what's a head coach to do?
And Hedin, with the foot injury last year, really making the most of this year, hustling, making things happen. Loves playing defense, and you just saw a little bit of it there.
Jeremy Thompson now will try a three, and it's good. Just like that, the Bison are back within 5. 3:55 to play first half. Nice to have you here at the Bison Sports Arena. The game is back on. It's a 5-point Sioux lead. Ranky now looking for the rebuttal. It will not fall. He will go to the line. The foul whistled on Jeremy Thompson.
His first personal, 7th team foul.
Thompson active on both ends of the floor tonight. My count has him 11 first half points, 11 of the 26 for North Dakota State. As a team, the Sioux are solid at the line. They make 71% of their free throws. Hunter Ranky 74.4% on the year.
You see Mustard coming back in. Brandon Bading was the player who got burned on that last Bison bucket. Look for the Bison to take advantage of the youngster from Langdon tonight.
Ranky converts the second half of the two-shot opportunity. Timeout on the floor with 3:45 to play. UND holds on to a 6-point lead. We'll be back with more Bison Sioux basketball.
There's only one problem with Hardee's new 99-cent spicy chicken sandwich. There may not be enough water to go around. Introducing Hardee's 99-cent spicy chicken sandwich. Tender, all-white chicken breast cooked spicy, real spicy. Only 99 cents at Hardee's, where the food's the star.
When you absolutely positively must get moving in any weather conditions, depend on Zero Start Cold Weather starting products. Unique, affordable battery warmers, an engine block, and interior heaters. Zero Start Cold Weather products are the hottest thing going in cold weather. Zero Start products available at the H.E. Everson Auto Parts and Welding Supply near you.
What he's thinking.
Welcome back to the Bison Sports Arena. It's 32-26 UND. Coming up at halftime, Dan Ashworth will visit us with the Papa Murphy's halftime report. A special treat for the paying customers here tonight at the BSA, the Utah Jazz Bear. That's right, the Jazz Bear from the Utah NBA club. Before the game, he swung down from the rafters, jumped up and did the splits a couple of times, much to the delight of the crowd.
He was at one of the Sioux Bison games a few years ago in Grand Forks. We said earlier his real identity, John Apsey. He's a graduate of East Grand Forks Sacred Heart. In fact, a few weeks ago during the Christmas break, he came to his alma mater. Sacred Heart was playing Climax Fisher and put on a show in the brand new Sacred Heart High School gym.
Pat, we want to know if there's any truth to the rumor that you taught him everything he knows about those splits maneuvers.
No comment. I wouldn't admit to it if I did.
North Dakota State has warmed up a little bit from the field, now shooting 35%. UND, a very impressive 52% from the field. Now John Brenneman gets free inside. They'll call the foul on Chad Mustard.
Chad Mustard, his second personal.
So that's 2 on Mustard. You've got Behrens on the bench with 2. Brandon Bading coming back in with 1. With 3.5 to go. And that's just what the Bison want, is to get Chad Mustard off that floor.
Ray Giacoletti, his eyes light up when he talks about John Brenneman, the 6'8" true freshman from Roseville, Minnesota, says he's an extremely athletic player. Another freshman who does not look like your typical college freshman. Ray says he will be very, very good. He is like a sponge, he says, soaks up everything we talk about in practice and in the film room. Those are traits you love to have in your freshmen, especially when the learning curve is so steep, as it is here tonight against the UND Fighting Sioux. Now Curtis Monlin rejected by Jeremy Thompson. Back the other way quickly, but Travis counters with a great play in his own end.
Wow.
Great defense on both ends. What a treat for the fans. Marcus Travis, the great anticipation, leaps high to pick it off. And now the Sioux eye it up again in the half-court set. Now Jason Retzloff with a steal. Goes in and lays it up and in. And Jason Retzloff is on the board, his first 2 of the night, and it's just a 3-point Fighting Sioux lead. 2:45 to play in the first half. The lead was 10. UND is now, North Dakota State has cut it to 3. Travis now wheels, fade away, no good. Hall forces up a tough shot. And Munlin back the other way. He has got such a quick first step. You can see why the coaches are excited about his potential. Now Joe Hedin will be called for the block.
Hedin's second of the game. And that'll put Marcus Travis at the line, a 73% free throw shooter, as Tenbrook comes in for Hedin. Rich Glass has Marcus Travis, and that's just the kind of player that Rich likes to have on his team. He says he plays with emotion, plays with effort. And we saw some of that on that great hustle after Thompson had made the defensive play on one end, then Travis alertly saving the ball in front of the Sioux bench on the other end.
If the Sioux win tonight, it will be their best start since the 1935-1936 season. 64 years in all since the Fighting Sioux have started the year 13-1.
Risvet back in for Travis.
Ray Giacoletti not happy. He's just about 6 feet away from us, not happy with how the Bison are getting into their offensive set right now. Now Gary Hall will pull it out and reset. Tipped away nicely in the lane, and Risvet comes away with it. We've got 1:34 to play in the first half. UND with a 5-point lead. Risvet, the kick out to Jacobson for 3. And a foul is called on the weak side. It'll go on John Brenneman. That is his third foul.
That is 3 on Brenneman. The Bison have a lot of big guys, so it may not hurt them in the long run, but it does hurt his availability for the final 121.
Renke with the 1-and-1, rims off. Ray Giacoletti says, stay in there, young man. Brenneman remains in the game, now over to Retzloff. He'll set it up from the left-hand wing. Thompson now faces up from 17 feet, and that is short. Loose ball rebound finally corralled by Hunter Renke. 49 seconds to play in the half. And Rich Glass says we want to talk about the final 46.5 seconds. A 20-second timeout called by Rich Glass. In his 11th year with the Fighting Sioux, he went 8-20 in his first year in Grand Forks, and then promptly proceeded to put together 5 20-plus win teams.
Rich's best years, of course, 90 and 91 when they made the trip to Springfield. Got to the third place game, I think, the third place game in 90, and then got eliminated in the quarterfinals in 91 by Virginia Union.
Coming up tomorrow night on WDAZ and WDAY, the Bison and Sioux basketball shows. Coming up Sunday nights after the 10 o'clock news. Ray Giacoletti and Rich Glass will be visiting with Pat and myself about the respective games and their respective teams. as we begin a brand new season of basketball coverage. Couldn't be more excited.
Actually, Steve, I should mention that Sean Bartell will be hosting the Sioux Basketball 2000 show, the latest addition to the DAZ sports staff. So,
pardon me.
We look forward to, well, I'm sure he'll forgive you.
We don't want to slight Sean. Absolutely not. Now knocked away, picked up by Greg Smith. The freshman checking back into the game and corralling a loose ball. Now Ray Giacoletti says we want one shot. UND doing a great job denying the passing lanes. Nothing coming easy on the offensive lane. Now Retzlaff kills the dribble. Thompson now trying to get free. Takes it to the lane, then it's good. Jeremy Thompson starts the half strong and finishes the half strong. The layup is good, and the foul will be called on Hunter Renke.
Well, you talk about milking the clock. They were down to 4 seconds in the game, 5 on the shot clock. Everybody cleared out, and Thompson says, I'm taking it myself, boys.
And I'm sure as Jeremy relates that play in future days to his friends, he'll say, that's how we drew it up. Wait until 4 seconds left, and then let me create. And now it is 34-32. Ray Giacoletti has not been happy most of this half. If his team can go in down only by 2, he'll be happy. The shot is good if it goes. No for Curtis Munlin. But the Sioux take a 34-32 lead to the intermission.
And when you think back, Steve, 5 minutes, 23 seconds to go. UND was up 31-19. A great finish for the Bison, pulling within 2 here at the half.
Dan Ashworth is standing by with head coach Rich Glass. Dan.
Stephen, Pat, thanks. 34-32, UND is up. You guys had a big lead. The Bison came back a little bit. What are you guys going to do in the second half for your team?
Well, it's all execution. You know, we've got to be able to play good defense. There's no tricks this game. It's a lot of momentum. We got a little run. They got a little run. That's going to happen. But we got to knock the ball in the basket. I think that's the key to any of these games. You got to be able to make field goals.
Rich, best of luck to you in the second half. We'll see you then. 34-32, UND. We'll have more. Back to you, Stephen Pat.
Thank you, Dan. As Dan said, it's a 2-point halftime lead for UND. NDSU on an 8-game winning streak tonight, but there's history in favor of the Sioux in this building. The last 2 decisions here have gone in favor of Rich Glass's team. We'll be back with the Papa Murphy's halftime report after this.
At McDonald's, seeing you smile makes us smile every day. And you'll definitely be happy when you hear about our everyday deal. Get your choice of McDonald's Spicy Cajun McChicken Sandwich or delicious double cheeseburger for just 99 cents. So come in for this great everyday Cajun McChicken double cheeseburger deal going on now.
What would you do if you were paralyzed in a car accident? Gary called the North Dakota Association for the Disabled.
Because I have an organization that's willing to help me in my time of need, and other organizations are out there, but they don't have the capability nor the means to help me. NAD has always been there for me. It's always been there for other people.
There's only one sure thing in our local weather. Winter is on the way.
But you can be sure at WDAZ's First News, we're ready. You'll see all your storm-related announcements starting when Channel 8 goes on the air at 6 a.m.
And we'll have all the details about the storm and how it will affect you on First News at 6:30.
The critical information you need most when you need it every morning from your news leader and First News.
Channel 8 Television, WDAZ, Devils Lake, Grand Forks.
Stewards of North Dakota State University, we recognize this as an institution with so much history and so much future.
Because of the education, because of the training, I was able to excel, whether it was programming, operating systems. It was fantastic.
Having a degree from NDSU is a major advantage.
Not only did I obtain a strong academic background, I was able to start a gene therapy company. We work with the top gene therapy researchers in the world.
I've always been.
How about 3 mushroom pizza?
Regular price, $4, $4.
What about a pepperoni lover?
And a supreme. 5 veggie lovers.
Pepperoni lovers.
Capital of New Mexico and a mushroom pizza.
Regular price, $4, $4. Regular price, $4, $4. Santa Fe, $4.
Buy any large or medium pizza at a regular price. Get up to 4 more mediums at just $4 each, but you gotta ask for it, so hurry.
The meat lovers, 2 pepperoni lovers, a date with you, and a mushroom pizza.
Regular price, $4, $4. Not for $1 million bucks. $4.
Pizza Hut, the best pizzas under one roof.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Next time on Home Again, we'll be spending a good deal of our time down in the basement here at the Governor's Mansion in Richmond, Virginia. Riley will be taking a tour of conditions right after they finish pouring the slab, and then later on we look at all the finished walls and partitions that are in place. Also, a tour of the Bunky Bowles house, a contemporary of this house from the early 1800s that's undergoing a very exacting restoration. Don't miss it. That's next time on Home Again.
Welcome back to the Bison Sports Arena. I'm joined now by Ray Giacoletti. Ray, you guys made a 13-3 run to get this back to a 2-point game. What did you guys talk about in the locker room?
Well, we got it back to even now. It's a 20-minute basketball game, so, you know, we got to get back to our composure, it being solid defensively. Allowed way too much penetration in the first half, and we got to contain that better. We got to do a better job putting bodies on people to box out, getting all 5 people back in the paint. That's going to give us opportunities to get out and push the ball.
Best of luck in second half. Thank you very much, Ray. 34-32, UND over the Bison. Steve and Pat.
Thank you, Dan. As you mentioned, it is now a close game. For a little while, we were wondering. Here is a look at the first half statistics. One number that jumps out, the Bison not shooting well, 37%. A lot of that has to do with the Sioux defense, obviously. Free throws, both teams shooting well. From three-point land, the Sioux are 3 of 7, Bison 1 of 5. 20 rebounds for UND, including 8 first-half rebounds for Hunter Renke. His season high is 10, so he's well on the way to a season high. 7 turnovers for UND, just 3 for North Dakota State. A fairly well-played game, Pat Sweeney.
Right, and 6 of those 8 rebounds for Renke coming on the defensive side. The individual stat that jumps out at me, well, first of all, Jeremy Thompson, you talk about a guy putting his money where his mouth is, volunteering for the assignment on Mustard and coming through with 15 points in the first half, 7 above his average. But the one thing, if you're a Sioux fan, that I think you have to be worried about, the Sioux kept Jason Retzlaff to 2 points in the first half. He's averaging 15. And Sioux fans know what Retzlaff did to the Sioux last year in Grand Forks, hitting some big threes down the stretch to fuel a Bison comeback win. I don't think Rich Glass can breathe easy about Retzlaff just yet.
Another point there, Pat. Danny English only with 2 first-half points. He is averaging 12. On the Sioux end of things, great balance. Marcus Travis and Chad Mustard with 6. Hunter Renke and Tom Jacobson with 5. Curtis Munlin with 4. We're underway, 34-32 UND. One great half of basketball coming up. The Sioux get the first look. Marcus Travis inside, kicks out. Jeremy Thompson knocks away the board. And the Bison will get their first look at the second stanza. Retzlaff forces up an off-balance shot. Not strong enough. as Retzloff continues to look to get in that groove. Now the pass too strong for Jacobson. Joe Hedin up ahead. The soaring layup. 2 points for Joe Hedin. He had 4 in the first half. He's now got 6 on the evening. So North Dakota State draws first blood, and friends, we are tied at 34. We start anew with 19 minutes to play in the second half. Countering inside, Chad Mustard strong to the glass. The bucket is good, and the foul goes on 40, number 40, Jeremy Thompson.
You got 40 on 40 there, Mustard on Thompson, and Thompson picking up his second foul.
And the glare from Chad Mustard.
This is the guy, well, of course, as I'm about to say, he's only a 58% free throw shooter. He knocks one down. This is a guy you want at the free throw line if you're NDSU.
The nice thing about that, though, he's seen so many trips to the free throw line when the pressure's on. It's nothing new for him. Now inside, the pass is batted away. Travis quickly counters. Layup is good. And the Sioux are on a 5-0 run, and they have taken a 5-point lead, 39-34 UND. North Dakota State worked so hard to get this game tied up, and in the blink of an eye, the Sioux have pushed their margin to 5. Hedin to Thompson, but he took too many steps on his way to the basket. Just the 4th turnover for North Dakota State of the night. That is something that the Bison coaches have been happy about recently. In their last 7 games, the Bison are turning the ball over on an average of 13.9 times a game. In their first 4 games of the year, they were turning it over 22 times a game. So it looks like that area of the game continues to be solid for North Dakota State. Speaking of solid, Chad Mustard with the turnaround, but it caroms off, and Danny English is there for the weak side rebound. The Sioux so good at denying on the passing lanes. Now Gary Hall to the baseline. Layup is good. Gary Hall now with 2 in the second half, 8 on the evening, and it's 39-36 UND. Both teams starting with their original 5 starters. Travis deals, and it looks like a foul will be called inside, and Joe Hedin looks disturbed, and if it is on him, it is number 24.
And that's his 4th of the game, coming with 17:19 to go. They're going to get Denver Tenbrook in here immediately.
That is a big loss when he has to sit down. He is a key player. Denver Tenbrook, a talented freshman, will take his spot. Marcus Travis is so athletic. He can draw those fouls so well.
And we talked about Blaine Ristvet and his health problems, and Chad Mustard and his elbow. Marcus Travis hurt his back over the Christmas tournament in Hilo, Hawaii, but doesn't seem to be showing any ill effects tonight.
Brady Larson is now checked in for UND, replacing Curtis Munlin. And we're back to a 5-point UND lead. Ray Giacoletti is absolutely convinced that the Sioux are holding a great deal on the Bison's offensive end, because he has been coming up with the same refrain since about the 2-minute mark of this game.
And the power of suggestion, Steve. As soon as he said it, Gary Putz calls holding on Tom Jacobson. Second individual foul on Tom. And
Blaine Ristvet now checking into the game for Jacobson. Retzloff trying somehow to get started here in this second half. But the defense is solid, and so the Bison will reset with Gary Hall. Kicks it out for the open look. Tenbrook to 3, no good. English working hard on the weak side, pulls it down, now up and in. Nice patience by Danny English, gathered the ball, got himself set, went up strong for the bucket. 41-38 UND. Now Ristvet kicks it out to Renke, foot on the line, and it's good. Renke is so dangerous, you get concerned about him in the low block. He'll step out and shoot one over you, as he did there.
Renke used to be a starter, accepted the move to the bench last year, and he has really blossomed in that role. And Rich says he's taken it well.
Now the drop off to English, the delay in the bucket. We're back to a three-point game as Danny English has asserted himself with 4 quick second-half points. 6 on the night. Knocked away now. There will be no violation as it was knocked away by the Bison. Risman now to the baseline, cutting to the basket. No good, but it's tipped out of bounds. I believe it will stay on this end. The officials say no. North Dakota State basketball is the ruling.
Looked like it went off Behrens.
We've got a timeout on the floor. 15:42 to play. UND with a 3-point lead.
The family car. Over the years,
there, Pat.
On stilts yet, he does the splits.
Let's go to courtside reporter Dan Ashworth. Dan.
The Sioux huddle, Rich Glass is a little concerned about the low post game that Danny English has kind of executed here early on. He says he wants his players to fight harder through those picks. Steve and Pat.
I wonder if the Bears got any eligibility left.
Well,
he would be a decided height advantage for one of these two coaches.
If he doesn't hustle off the floor, he might be in some trouble because everybody's waiting for him. Now we're underway. Stacy Henderson getting a close-up view on the camera there.
Back to the show as North Dakota State will get a look. Jeremy Thompson looks at it from straight away. Gary Hall, jump stop off the glass, and it's good. Gary Hall now with 4 in the second half, and it's just a 1-point UND lead. Well, the rebound was corralled by Kyle Behrens, but the officials say he gained an advantage with the shove.
Kyle's third of the game. Let's watch it here with the right arm. Well, didn't look that hard on the replay, but nonetheless,
whenever
Mustard comes back in.
Whenever a player goes tumbling with the arm extended, that'll get called in the NCC. Gary Hall back on the other end now.
You have to sell it, and the Bison did.
Jeremy Thompson, the fadeaway. Draws nothing, and Brady Larson back the other way. The Bison have improved their shooting somewhat. They are now 16 of 37 now for about 42%. At one time in this game, they were in the low 20s. Now Risford cuts to the lane uncontested. It looked like the defender slipped. Denver Tenbrook took a tumble, and Risford has 2. (45-42), UND with 14:12 remaining. Nice to have you with us here from the Bison Sports Arena. Jason Retzloff, if you've just joined us, has struggled to get his offense going, and Danny English did too in the first half, but now in the second half, he's got 6 points. 8 on the evening, and it's again a 1-point game. Brady Larson behind the arc, no good. Now the Bison will run. Gary Hall leads it back the other way, and now he'll take it from 3. Crawls out, tipped around, and finally Hunter Renke corrals the board. That would have given the Bison their first lead since about midway through the first half. Now Mustard inside, some contact, no call. And now Danny English will be called for the foul as they scrap for the loose ball.
You got Thompson on Mustard here. We said it would be physical, and it is. Mustard almost forcing that one. Then Renke got pushed out of the way by English, who picks up his 3rd foul.
Mustard on the turnaround. The jump hook is no good, but a foul will be called on Greg Smith. Ray Giacoletti says he went straight up.
But you could hear the slap right there.
Absolutely. The right call was made. The arm went into Chad Mustard as he was shooting.
Chad Mustard shooting 2.
Well, now you have Danny English with 3 fouls and Joe Hedin with 4. A couple of notes to keep in mind as we head down the stretch. Mustard converts the first free throw. And Marcus Travis will check in for Blaine Rismet.
Gentlemen, you have 1 shot.
The Sioux are coming off their first loss of the season at Nebraska-Omaha on Monday, a 60-55 game. It was the first time that they had shot under 40% from the field all year. They went 22 of 58. And when you shoot that way, Pat Sweeney, you will not win a whole lot of ball games.
The funny thing about that is they shot 38%, and I think Omaha shot 41 and still won the game.
Now English again. The power move to the basket is good.
He's warming up.
Somebody gave Danny English a little wake-up call at halftime. He's come out ready to do some damage. Curtis Munlin now trying to counterpunch quickly. Marcus Travis shakes. Now kicks it out to Munlin for the straightaway 3. No! And it's starting to get ornery under the boards, and they're going to whistle a foul on Hunter Renke.
Foul number 52, Hunter Renke, his second personal.
Second on Renke. Munlin was left alone, but he's not had a good year shooting threes, as we pointed out earlier. And the Bison have the advantage with all the big physical guys that they can bring in and rotate. The Sioux don't have as many. So the Bison have a lot of fouls to play with here.
Now Greg Smith takes it off the glass way too strong. And now he gets it back, kicks it over to Jason Retzlaff, still looking to get his offensive game working. Now Retzlaff trapped in the corner, and he'll have to burn a timeout. We've got 12-14 to play in our second half of basketball. UND leads at 47-46. We'll be back after this.
It's the end of the week.
Get into Subway on Sunday.
We're ready to eat.
Sunday at Subway, enjoy 2 regular foot-long sandwiches for only $6.99.
Ooh, temptation.
Craving steak and cheese, seafood, spicy meatball, or zesty chicken? Subway piles the fixins high. All day Sunday, get any 2 regular foot-long sandwiches, just $6.99.
Sunday dinner's got a whole new feel with Subway's foot-long deal.
All day Sunday, only at Subway. Prices and participation may vary.
An adventurous spirit, unique and tough to tame. Rugged and independent, Rough Rider was the name. Well, the legend still lives on in a crate like bodied beer. Fresh, clean and natural, true Western flavor is here. Rough Rider beer, the spirit comes alive. Rough Rider premium beer.
That should be about everything. I'm all set to go fishing. Hey, it's Janie and Terry from Wise Floral.
Ernie, we have a delivery for you.
For me? Isn't that nice? My wife sent me flowers. That's so special. Hey, where are you going?
We're going fishing.
Wise Floral works every time.
Wise Floral in the Southtown Square, Grand Forks.
47-46 is our score. UND with a 1-point lead. Danny English tonight. 2 points in the first half, but 8 here in the second half. He's averaging 12 a game. And he is a different player in this second half. He appears much more aggressive going to the basket. North Dakota State now with a possession with a chance to take the lead. Thrown away. And Kyle Barron scoops up the loose ball. 12:02 to play. Barron's now the baseline move, gets free but leaves it short, and Danny English is there for the board. Boy, you got to bury your easy looks. That time Kyle Barron's had about as easy as you're going to get. Now to Greg Smith, strong inside, left hand, no good. but they're going to whistle Chad Mustard for the foul.
Rich Glass pleading, saying that Mustard had position, but Tom Peralt says no. Third foul. This is what Rich was saying. He had his arms up, and the man went into him, but they call it anyway.
The arms were up, but when the chest moves into the shooter, they're going to call that just about every time. Greg Smith now, the big fellow from Cottage Grove, Oregon, the true freshman, 63% free throw shooter on the year. He had 31 points and 13 rebounds against Minot State in one of the first couple of games for North Dakota State early this season. He's averaging 6.5 a game. He is the guy that Ray Giacoletti says has unlimited potential. A couple of rainmakers bring a couple of points, and the Bison have a 1-point lead, 48-47, with 11:39 to go. And the hometown crowd voices its approval. Now Mustard gets a step. Short jumper, no good, and Danny English brings down a rebound. Gary Hall to the lane, and he's fouled on the drive. I believe they'll call it on Curtis Munlin. And you can start to see some confidence being restored to the North Dakota State lineup.
His second personal, 5th team foul.
Second foul on Curtis Munlin, and a fresh 35 for the Bison here.
Gary Hall now drives baseline, pulls up, jumper no good. It is apparently something the Bison talked about at halftime, to have Gary Hall be much more aggressive going to the basket, because he has tried to take Curtis Munlin one-on-one several times. Down low inside, Kyle Behrens gets free for the short jumper, and the Sioux are back up on top, 49-48. Point and counterpoint here from the Bison Sports Arena. Hope you're enjoying it too. 10:46 to play, UND with a 1-point lead. Tenbrook now looking inside. Danny English free from 17, passes it up, drives, the layup is good. The off-balance layup, Danny English is fired up, and he's got a step for the Bison Sports Arena faithful as he heads back down the court. 10 second-half points for Danny English. He has single-handedly brought the Bison back. They lead by 1. Curtis Munlin, the floater, says, I've got one right here. A nice off-balance floater goes by Curtis Munlin. He's got 6 now in the game, and it's 51-50 UND.
Got an injury here. Gary Hall.
Looks like Danny English
he's looking for, it's English, I'm sorry. He's looking for a contact. There it is.
Excuse me, Pat, I'm not sure whose contact lens it is, but they're looking for somebody's.
Is section R, row 10.
How about that? How about that basket by Danny English? With the move there on the big man Behrens, bumping off and just kind of leaning in, and down he goes. Maybe that's where he lost the contact.
He lost the contact while he made contact, it looked like. It looked like a good call that trip down the floor. The Bison fans were looking for a foul, but it did look like Danny English initiated the contact. Let's go to Dan Ashworth.
Hey guys, we talked about the keys of the game for Ray Giacoletti and the Bison. Number 3 was go strong to the hoop. Danny English lived up to that right now early on in the second half. 10 second half points, 12 for the game. He's going strong to the hoop. Back to you guys.
And I think we should say something. We didn't have it on camera very long, but Stacy Anderson actually had the close-up of that contact lens on the floor.
Stacy's got a great eye for shooting, if you will.
We cover the game literally with a microscope tonight. Well,
we've got a great game coming into focus.
It is.
Here in the second half. We should quit this right now.
Here's the replay on the search for the contact lens. Oh,
the cheerleader's even lending a hand.
Now, that's what it looked like when he lost his lens. Everything went black. Now they're mopping up the floor. Well, let's hope tomorrow's game is this good.
Ray Giacoletti says, I wish my guys would get to the floor for the loose ball as quick as they go for the loose contact lens. No, he didn't say that. We're just kidding. UND now shooting 40% from the field in the second half. The Bison 57% from the field here in the second half. And that's why we've got a one-point ball game. 9:37 to play. UND with a one-point lead, 51-50. Danny English again strong to the basket. The foul is called, and Hunter Reinke cannot believe it. Rich Glass doesn't like it either.
Sioux number 52, Hunter Reinke.
Reinke's third. Now let's see if he got all ball or not. Looks like all ball there.
Tough to tell from that angle. A lot of ball, but so many times when the player's making that aggressive post move, they'll call it if there is contact there at all. Danny English now back to the line, looking for his 11th second half point, but that one kicks too strong, and we remain a 1-point UND lead. English, a 63% free thrower on the year. And we're knotted at 51 with 9.5 minutes to play. Brady Larson now quick to the baseline, dishes to Travis in the corner. He'll try a three, and it's good. That's what Brady Larson can do. He'll give you a little creativity off the drive, and he found the open man. Rich Glass says he's not really a penetrator, but he was on that play. Ball knocked out of bounds. They'll say no foul. It will remain North Dakota State basketball. Denver Tenbrook, the true freshman from McIntosh, South Dakota, will inbound the ball. Jeremy Thompson, a big first half. Haven't heard much from him here in the second. Greg Smith looking to get in on the act. The turnaround is no good, and a foul will be called. It looks like on Kyle Behrens.
There was a lot of bumping underneath, Steve, and Behrens just picked up his 4th foul. Battle of 54s there. Well, there was a lot of contact.
Looked like Behrens went mostly straight up, a little bit of contact, and they'll blow the whistle.
They're calling a lot of things closely tonight. And that'll get Chad Mustard back in.
Joe Hedin set to check in as well for North Dakota State. Greg Smith now at the line for the first of two. Mustard back in with 3 fouls. Joe Hedin back in with 4. And Joe Hedin will now walk the fine line of being aggressive without committing the fouls. At least that is the hope of the North Dakota State faithful. Greg Smith now with one more free throw coming. High arcing shot bounces in. 54-52 UND with 8:52 to play. Marcus Travis trying to pick up that 5th foul on Joe Hedin. His shot rims out. Greg Smith corrals it. Gary Hall turns it back the other direction. Danny English faces up, now looks to Joe Hedin, back to English. Now Jeremy Thompson, the crossover dribble, partially blocked by Mustard. Greg Smith is there for the rebound, and he scores! And the 6'10" freshman is fired up. We've got ourselves a tie ball game with 8:10 to play. Now Blaine Rispin kicks it out. Joe Hedin anticipates, turns it back the other way. 2 mistakes out of 1 as Marcus Travis is called for the foul.
It looked as if Ristvit had a clean shot to the hoop there. If he could have gotten through 2 defenders, made a bad decision to throw it back because Hedin picks it off and Travis just bumps him off to try to break up a break and see if he can send him to the free throw line here and make him earn 2.
That is the value of having Joe Hedin on the floor for Ray Giacoletti. He is so smart in knowing when the pass is coming and quick enough to get there to make a play on it. The 9th team foul now whistled on UND. The Bison have just 4 in this second half. First free throw good by Joe Hedin. his third point of the second half. He's got 7 now on the ball game, looking for number 8. And North Dakota State has a 2-point lead, 56-54 our score. And Rich Glass says, let's talk it over, fellas. With 7:59 to play, the BSA faithful are on their feet. We'll be back after this.
Excuse me, the Sioux say, Rich Glass says, just suck it up for the next 8 minutes and let's get it done. On the other side, Ray Jack says, we're right there. They work so hard. Don't let it get away from there. And everything starts with this defensive stop.
Thank you, Dan. The shooting percentage is updated. North Dakota, 44.1%. North Dakota State, 43.5%. Chad Mustard's attempt will not go, but saved nicely inbounds by Tom Jacobson. And Hunter Reinke makes it pay with a straightaway 3, and the Sioux are back up on top, 57-56. Great hustle by Tom Jacobson, Marcus Travis, good awareness, getting it to the open fellow Hunter Reinke, who buried the 3. Jeremy Thompson off a screen, but there's no room. Now Greg Smith inside, the left-hand jump hook, no good, gets his own miss and scores. And you've got to love the emotion of Greg Smith going back down the floor.
You can tell he's a fan favorite here.
If he wasn't before tonight, Pat, he's going to change all that. It's a 1-point game. Bison 58, Sioux 57. Now Joe Hedin with the steal all alone. Here comes the goodie. Joe Hedin with the steal and the two-handed flush. It's a 3-point North Dakota State lead. Now Mustard strong to the basket, and he will draw the foul on Greg Smith. As we mentioned, Joe Hedin so skilled at jumping into the passing lanes.
Here's the guy who makes things happen in our first dunk of the game, gets the crowd. Bison have done a great job not only getting themselves back in the game, but getting the crowd back in the game. And a lot of that is due to their bench. They're outscoring the Sioux unofficially by my count, 27-17 in bench points.
Both of these teams rely heavily on bench points. In fact, UND gets 44% of its points from the bench. North Dakota State, 36%.
Curtis Munlin replacing Larson. Back onto the Bison with 33, Jason Retzlaff.
Retzlaff back in. He's still only got 2 points, but with Greg Smith picking up the slack, he's got 9 points already, and he's been one of the bench leaders tonight.
Greg Smith checking out of the game, and the fans here gave him a big hand. This just in from courtside reporter Dan Ashworth. Ray Giacoletti is telling his players inside to go straight up. Be very careful on moving into the shooter as they're in the act of shooting. Now Gary Hall, the quick turnaround from 12 feet to go. And it's back up to a 3-point North Dakota State lead. We've got 6 minutes to play from Fargo, North Dakota. And we're going to go down to the wire tonight at the BSA. Mustard slapped away. They'll whistle Jeremy Thompson for the foul. Ray Giacoletti does not like it. The thing about Jeremy Thompson's arms, Pat, is they're so long it looks like he's reaching in, even maybe when he's not, although we're not saying he wasn't on that play.
His third foul. Seems like you can't do anything tonight. They're calling a lot of ticky-tack fouls.
So much emotion in this rivalry. I'm sure the officials just looking to keep things under control. Jacobson, the floating 3 does not go, and the Bison now have a chance to push it to a 5 or a 6-point lead if they can strike from behind the arc. Gary Hall will set him up, kicks it out to the corner. We're kind of screened from the play by the North Dakota State bench when it goes to that deep left corner here, so if we're a step behind, you'll please forgive us. it's stolen away. Marcus Travis brings back the Sioux. Joe Hedin has to back away. The shot is missed. Mustard fighting strong for the rebound.
Fourth foul on Thompson. How many layups is Marcus Travis? He just isn't getting the bounces tonight.
Just a nice job of fighting underneath.
And the line for North Dakota, Chad Mustard, shooting 2.
And that'll get Greg Smith back in off the Bison bench. I'll tell you, for a guy who is only a 58% free throw shooter, Chad Mustard is having a great night at the line, 6 of 6.
In the big games, you count on big contributions from your seniors. Chad Mustard has been here before. This is nothing new for the 6'7" senior from Columbus, Nebraska. Averaging 14.3 a game with a high of 21.
And Behrens comes back in for the Sioux, number 54. He's playing with 4 fouls.
Bounce pass attempted to Jason Retzloff. A foul was called on Tom Jacobson trying to fight through a screen. His third of the game.
Tom shaking his head, so is Rich Glass. Rich wasn't pounding the floor, but he was slapping his papers on the floor. Hunter Reinke, who just stepped out, comes back in for Behrens.
Jason Retzloff to the line tonight, just 2 points on the evening. He's averaging 15. When you send Retz to the free throw line, you can darn near count it. He's 85%. That leads the team in free throw percentage. Ray Giacoletti says when he gets hot, Jason Retzloff can carry our team. But he has not been in that position tonight. But he makes 2 key free throws. He's got 4 now on the night. And it's once again a 3-point Bison lead. Nice pass from Hunter Reinke inside to Marcus Travis. Goes up strong on Joe Hedin.
Travis simply out-hustled Hedin there.
North Dakota State will need to somehow prevent Marcus Travis from getting the ball because he is too skilled once he has possession going against a man with 4 fouls. Danny English strong to the basket. They say no basket, and they'll whistle a foul on the floor. The block called on
UND foul number
52. That's Hunter Reinke. English saw a lane.
Well, they're calling the bump there for his 4th foul of the game. So now you've got Reinke with 4 and Behrens with 4 for the Sioux. Thompson and Hedin with 4 for the Bison.
Danny English, 63% from the line on the year. And he makes both of those. 66-63 North Dakota State, 4:23 to play. Going for the steal was John Brenneman, no good. Travis hits the 3. Within a whisker of going the other way. But Marcus Travis has stepped up big in the last 2 minutes, and it's now 66 apiece with 3:58 remaining.
For a second, I thought Mustard was going to drive on the freshman, but he had a nice assist.
Joe Hedin throws it to an open spot on the floor. He was looking for Danny English on a backdoor cut, it looked like, but there was nobody there. We've got 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to play. Can't wait for you to come back for the finish of this one. We're tied at 66 from the Bison Sports Arena. Dan, after a very cold start, the North Dakota State Bison are now shooting better from the field than UND. 46% for NDSU, 44.9% for UND. Rebounds pretty close. North Dakota State with a 33-27 margin. 10 turnovers for UND, 8 for North Dakota State. 66 apiece, just 3:45 to play in this one. Clear out for Marcus Travis. You knew it was coming, and Joe Hedin steps in. They'll call the offensive foul. A big gamble by the junior guard from Waconia, but the referees say he had possession. The quick feet leads to the turnover.
Well, I don't think Hedin knows how to play at half speed. He took the gamble, as you said, Steve, and drew the foul against Marcus Travis, who now has 3.
Now Hedin to the lane. Some contact. Ray Giacoletti up in arms, and it looked like Marcus Travis got the worst of the contact. It looked like he took a shoulder right to the breadbasket.
Yep, it was exactly that, Steve. The shoulder right in the midsection. But Marcus Travis is a tough kid, and he's going to stay in there.
Ray Giacoletti, an extended conversation with one of our officials here tonight. Not happy about that last sequence of events. Now Mustard free underneath. They'll whistle a foul on North Dakota State under the basket. That'll be on Danny English. And that will be 4 on Danny English. We have a distinguished fraternity of gentlemen with 4 fouls here tonight. For the Sioux, Hunter Renke and Kyle Behrens. For the Bison, Danny English, Jeremy Thompson, and Joe Hedin. Team fouls are 10 for UND, 8 for North Dakota State. Mustard converts the free throw to give the Sioux a 1-point lead.
The Utah Jazz Bears shooting off a fire extinguisher on the far side just as Mustard shot that free throw. He made it anyway.
I believe it might be North Dakota State that is paying for the Utah Jazz Bears trip to Fargo.
I guess so.
From the line, UND tonight 18 of 20, the Bison 19 of 23. Both teams shooting extremely well from the free throw line tonight. And now it's a 2-point Sioux lead. It has been punch and counter punch here tonight. English strong. The jumper is no good. And it looks like Hunter Renke has picked up foul number 5. And he is not happy about it.
See, it looked like English put his shoulder into him, and they let that go, and they call it on Renke.
Danny English was very aggressive on that move to the basket.
Well, Rich Glass still giving his 2 cents worth to Gary Putz, but doesn't matter. With 5 fouls, Renke has to come out. And Kyle Behrens will come back in. And he's got 4 fouls.
And here's where you appreciate the depth of the UND front line. You've got 1 player out with 4. All you do is bring in a guy in Kyle Behrens who can score 7 a game, 7 rebounds, and has blocked 21 shots on the year.
But if Behrens should go out, then they have to bring in a sophomore, Brandon Bading, and that's where the experience factor drops off.
English up and good. English now with 13 second half points unofficially, 15 in all, looking for number 16, and he's got it.
Oh, man.
And we're again tied at 68. And the Utah Jazz Bear is now behind us, blowing some kind of smoky type ooze substance.
Somebody on the Bison game crew just got a frosted hairdo there.
Pat, I think it might be a good look for you. The turnaround, the jump hook is no good by Chad Mustard. Now the Bison with a chance to take a 2-point lead. 2:20 to play. We're knotted at 68 from the Bison Sports Arena. North Dakota State with the ball. English free underneath. The layup is good. And a foul is called, and that might be on Kyle Behrens. It's either number 4 on Mustard or number 5 on Behrens. And the junior from Hayfield, Minnesota is going to have a chair. They whistle the foul on Behrens. The great wraparound pass by Joe Hedin. English strong to the goal. It's a 70-68 North Dakota State lead. English now going to the line looking to make it a 3-point bowl.
And Rich Glass wants a timeout. They don't see it. Finally, they do. And we'll see. It looks as if Blaine Ristvedt is going to come in. But that hurts the Sioux depth with Reinke. And now Behrens out. 2 big men. And Ristvedt will come in, so they'll go with a shorter lineup instead of having the sophomore Bading come in.
We expected nothing but a close game here tonight. Both coaches said our teams are very similar. We like to do the same things offensively, working around the perimeter, find cutting men going to the hoop. On defense, we like to play tough man-to-man defense. Both teams figured to be in the upper echelon of the North Central Conference this year. UND was number 2 in the preseason media poll. North Dakota State ranked number 5 in the preseason conference media poll. That is if you believe guys like Pat and I know what we're talking about.
I don't know about that. Do we know what we're talking about?
I think we do.
We're not the experts, are we?
On certain occasions anyway. Tomorrow, we know what we're talking about here. We're going to have a great game in women's basketball tomorrow here at the BSA. Number 2, UND. Number 3, North Dakota State. We'll be right back here with you on the North Dakota ABC Sports Network at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. What a great weekend. We get done with the dandy here in the men's game, and we got a women's game to look forward to tomorrow afternoon. Danny English looking to convert the 3-point play. It will not fall. It remains a 2-point North Dakota State lead, 70-68. And we are now under 2 minutes to play. Foul called away from the basket. They'll whistle Gary Hall for fighting through a screen. They'll say he initiated some contact. Foul number,
they're going to, actually that's on English. And that's 5 on English.
My mistake, Danny English. Boy, is that a tough foul for Ray Giacoletti. 17 feet away from the basket on the defensive end, and Danny English picks up foul number 5. And it's news to Danny English.
Tom Peralt saying, I called it. It's 5 fouls. You got to get him out of here.
Well, the Bison are claiming that the foul was Gary Hall fighting through a screen on the high post. But I believe it was called by the referee on the block, who says that it was Danny English who was the culprit. And no time to complain.
Well, the war of attrition continues here.
So we've had 2 players from North Dakota, 1 from North Dakota State, who will be watching the final 155. And it sends an outstanding free thrower to the line as well. Brady Larson steps to the line for UND.
Now, and Brandon Bading comes back in there for some size. Ristvedt comes out.
And now Greg Smith is checked in for the Bison, number 54. And a costly miss by Brady Larson. We didn't mean to do that to the young man. But it's 70-68 North Dakota State. Gary Hall with the leader, no! And a foul is now called on Jeremy Thompson, crashing the offensive boards. And now Jeremy Thompson, it looks like, will have a chair.
5 on Jeremy Thompson. Once again, Tom Peralt calling it from well off of the play. Well, a lot of guys jumping up there. You see Tom Peralt coming in to make the call.
That's a tough call and a tough viewpoint from where we were sitting here. Jeremy Thompson with those long arms sometimes can sneak one of those away, but Most of the time in NCC play, when a player has position and a player reaches over him, whether there's contact or not, the foul will be called, and that's what happened this time. Now John Brenneman back in, and North Dakota State, in the biggest game of its young season, has 2 true freshmen up front. The learning curve indeed steep for John Brenneman and Greg Smith tonight, as seniors Jeremy Thompson and Danny English will have to lend their support from the bench. Marcus Travis now with a chance to tie the game up with 2 free throws. First one is good.
One shot, guys.
Travis has not missed at the line tonight. You see his season average.
Those 2 are good, and with 1:41 to play, we are again tied. Punch and counter punch tonight. What a great game. Glad to have you with us tonight. Hedin tries to create, bounce pass. Grabbed by Greg Smith, but as he was trying to set his feet and get possession of the ball, the referees say that he double dribbled it. The turnover on North Dakota State gives it back.
And the Sioux call time with 1:24 to go.
The UND Fighting Sioux have one very impressive win on the 1999-2000 resume. They beat number 13 Ashland College this year at the Hawaii Hilo tournament. The only team in the top 15 that either North Dakota or North Dakota State have played this year. Tomorrow night, coming up at 10:30 on WDAY and WDAZ, the Bison and Sioux basketball shows. We'll look back on this game tonight, and we'll also have a recap of the women's game set for tomorrow afternoon between the Bison and the Sioux.
And we'll have kind of a different look to that game. Jenny Krause no longer with the Sioux. A lot of new faces on UND. NDSU with everybody back.
Everybody's hunkering down for the final minute 20. Tied at 70 with 1:16 to play. Knocked away, but there is Brandon Bading. Johnny on the spot. Now Brady Larson to the lane, and that's going to be number 5 on Joe Hedin. Brady Larson saw a path to the basket, decided to take it to the hoop, and here's another look.
Hedin cuts across, and Larson kept on going, and Bison don't like it, but now they've got their 3rd man out of the game.
Looked like a good call. Hedin was just getting to the spot, but as we know, you have to beat the man to the spot.
And that'll bring Denver Tenbrook in.
Replacing number 24,
10 points unofficially for Hedin tonight.
And another true freshman now in the game, Denver Tenbrook, taking the place of Joe Hedin. So the Bison will play the last minute 2 with 3 true freshmen on the floor. On the other hand, you look at the Sioux lineup. 4 seniors on the floor. We'll see if the experience pays off. Right now it's a 2-point UND lead, and we're under a minute to play. Jason Retzloff has been quiet the entire evening. How the Bison would love to see him get free and knock down a 3-pointer here. Gary Hall to the lane, turnaround blocked, but picked up underneath. A hard foul on John Brenneman. It looked like Chad Mustard said, I'm going to prevent the shot. A little body, little man.
Looked like Travis actually got that first block, and then there's the obvious hack by Chad Mustard for his 4th foul.
It looked pretty clean up top, but when Chad Mustard comes in, all 240 pounds of him, and swats it, so demonstratively, the foul will be called more than likely.
Now, if you're the Sioux, you want Brenneman at the line, hitting only 40% for the year, and he misses the first one here.
Every opportunity is so important right now. This one a little stronger, but a little too strong, and it remains a 2-point lead. Now North Dakota State has to look for some options.
And no shot clock.
And the shot clock is off with 26.8 to play. UND with possession and a 2-point lead.
Well, it's going to come down to who can make the free throws. And the Sioux have made the last 4.
The Sioux have been outstanding from the line tonight. The Bison have been good as well. But in a game like this, every shot is important. 2 makes on one end for the Sioux, 2 misses on the other end for the Bison. That's why we've got a 2-point game with 26.8 seconds to play. North Dakota State has been shooting well from the free throw line. Coming into tonight's game, they were 98 of their last 125. That translates to a percentage of 78.4. But it's a little more difficult to release your shot when you're a true freshman in a game like this. Now the Bison will turn up the defensive pressure. They're not going to foul yet. Now they will.
Boy, Ray Giacoletti stomping his feet right in front of us here. Wanted the foul a lot sooner than that. Is Brady Larson okay? Looked like he got shaken up a bit, but he's all right. Boy, Giacoletti going to wear out his shoe. He was stomping so hard.
The Bison did not use much tact in fouling Brady Larson. They went at him pretty good. If memory serves correctly, his last trip to the free throw line, he missed the shot. But now 2 shots because we're in the double bonus, and it's now a 3-point UND lead. A big free throw here for North Dakota State and UND both. If he misses it, is a 1-possession game. If he makes it, excuse me, it's a 2-possession game. If he misses it, there we go, a 1-possession game. Now seeing his first action of the night, the sharpshooter from West Fargo, Scott Myshak, checks into the game.
Joe Snowden comes out, and that's 4 straight for Brady Larson at the line.
74-70 with just 17 seconds. The Bison need to get a quick look. Hall to the baseline. The bucket is good, and he's fouled with 10.3 to play. It is now a 2-point game, 74-72 UND.
And that is not what the Sioux wanted. Larson should have just let him go. Now he gets a chance to tack on one more and make it a 1-point game.
The question here, do you think about missing the free throw with 10.3, or is there still too much time to go?
10.3, that's a lot of time, I think.
You heard it here first. Pat Sweeney says he's going to make the free throw and the Bison will play defense. That's exactly what he does. 74-73 UND. 10.3 seconds to play. Some defensive substitutions now for NDSU. Antonio Ross and Joe Snowden into the game. As the Sioux inbound the ball. Rismet now fouled underneath his own basket. 7.9 seconds to play. Well, the big thing about that last 3-point conversion on the North Dakota State end is even if UND converts the 2 free throws now, if Blaine Rismet is 2 for 2, the Bison will still have a chance to tie it with a 3.
And Rismet hasn't been to the line tonight, but he is an 84% free throw shooter. And the Bison are going to talk it over here. 7.9 seconds left. Well, who'd have thunk it? 5:23 left in the first half. The Sioux are leading 31-19, and it's turned out to be a great one.
It has been a 5-point game, I believe, from very early on in the second half. Both teams fighting tough as you would expect in MCC play. One of the big storylines in this game, should UND pull out a win, is where was the offense from Jason Retzlaff tonight? Just 4 points in this game, 1 field goal and 2 free throws. And to their credit, that's mostly because of the UND defense. Not a slight on Retzlaff at all. The Sioux defense has been tough.
Here's Blaine Risford of West Fargo with a chance to maybe lock it up for the Sioux.
Number 1 misses badly. Well, this may change the strategy for Ray Giacoletti. A 2 now, depending on the free throw. Again, I guess you better let these things shake out first. Risford's second free throw is good.
Substitution, number 32.
Ryan Walker now in, the freshman from Mohall, and Chad Mustard will sit down. There will be no timeouts. They will play on, say the coaches, with 7.9 to play. It's a 2-point UND lead. Gary Hall in the backcourt. One shot, and they'll call a foul out on the perimeter.
Rich Glass just hit the floor. He can't believe it.
Gary Hall was trying to work off of a screen behind the three-point arc, and the foul, I believe, is whistled on Tom Jacobson.
It is Tom Jacobson, and it's his 4th.
There is 1 second to play.
Rich is screaming on the other end, what was that? And with good reason, I think.
And now a couple of pressure-packed free throws for Gary Hall. He's an 84% free throw shooter. 1 will not be good enough. He will need 2. First one is good.
Mustard and Bading in for the Sioux. Ristvet and Walker out.
Now with 1 second, you can't inbounds the ball, catch, and get a quick shot away. Gary Hall, the big free throw. Karam's out, but Scott Myshak has a follow as the horn sounds.
Wow.
It will not go, and UND has dodged a bullet. 75 to 74. The Sioux take meeting number 1 with the Bison. Could not ask for a better finish unless you're an NDSU fan tonight. A tough way to lose it. Gary Hall's second free throw kicked hard off the back iron. Scott Myshak had his hands on the ball, tried a quick jump follow, and it will not go. Dan Ashworth is standing by with the victorious Rich Glass.